They're the NHL's most relentless trash talkers and agitators. And yet, they've managed to establish themselves as one of the most elite teams the NHL has ever seen. Is the 2024-25 version of the Florida Panthers the greatest NHL roster ever assembled? In this video, we're taking a look at the staggering numbers behind the pure playoff dominance of the Panthers and how they cruised their way to back-to-back Stanley Cups. Let's dive in. Once a franchise lost in the shuffle of a busy sports market, the Florida Panthers have completely rewritten their story. After now winning back-to-back championships, they've shed the underdog label and cemented themselves as true powerhouses, earning the admiration of fans and the respect of opponents. What's happening in Sunrise isn't a fluke. It's the result of a disciplined, gritty, and battle-tested team built for big moments. Led by a core that blends high-end skill with physical edge, steered by Paul Maurice, one of the NHL's most respected coaches, the Panthers have become masters of playoff hockey. They don't just beat teams, they break them down. Through the 2024-25 regular season, Florida at times looked disinterested, but given their grueling schedule over the past two seasons, including more playoff games than any other team, it's understandable. They were pacing themselves, because when the games matter most, the Panthers turn it on. The Panthers may have finished third in the Atlantic Division and stumbled a bit into the playoffs, but once the postseason began, they flipped the switch, just like they've done in recent years. When the games mattered most, Florida became an unstoppable force. What followed was one of the most dominant and suffocating playoff runs in NHL history. Let's break down just how ruthlessly effective the 2024-25 Panthers really were. While beating higher-seeded teams in the NHL playoffs isn't always the strongest metric, especially in a league known for its chaos and unpredictability, it's still worth noting that Florida knocked off a better-ranked opponent in every round of their Cup run. Time and again, they showed resilience, none more impressive than in their second-round series against Toronto. After falling behind 2-0 in the series and trailing 2-0 midway through the first period of Game 3, the Panthers stormed back to take the series in 7. Florida went 16-7 in the playoffs following a 47-31-4 regular season. Their path to the Cup included a 5-game dispatching of the Tampa Bay Lightning in Round 1, a 7-game battle with the Maple Leafs in Round 2, and a dominant 5-game victory over the Carolina Hurricanes in the Eastern Conference Final. Offensively, they were a juggernaut in the playoffs, racking up 94 goals, tying for the 4th highest total in NHL postseason history. Their scoring wasn't top-heavy. Their top 5 point-getters were separated by just a single point, and 6 players hit the 20-point mark, tying a league record. In total, 11 Panthers hit double digits in points, and 19 different skaters found the back of the net at least once. One of the most surprising sparks came from Brad Marchand, a trade deadline pickup playing on the third line who finished third on the team with 10 goals. Florida also matched the legendary 1980 Islanders by having 9 players with 15 or more playoff points. 6 of those players hit the 20-point or more milestone, tying them with the 1983 Islanders and 1985 Oilers for most all time. But perhaps the most remarkable stat: goals came from everywhere, including the blue line. Florida had 19 unique goal scorers in the playoffs, a feat only 8 teams in NHL history have surpassed. Even more impressively, 7 of those were defensemen, who combined for 18 goals in 23 games. That's a massive uptick from their 37 goals across the entire 82-game regular season. Those 7 goal-scoring defensemen tie an NHL playoff record, putting the Panthers alongside the likes of the 1987 Oilers, 1988 Flames, 1991 Penguins, 1994 Capitals, 2019 Bruins, and 2021 Golden Knights. Sergei Bobrovsky once again stood tall in the Panthers' crease, delivering a playoff performance worthy of Conn Smythe consideration. He went 16-7 with a stellar 2.44 goals against average, a .914 save percentage, and 3 shutouts. numbers that surpassed his impressive run during Florida's cup-winning campaign the year before. Simply put, Bobrovsky was rock solid when it mattered most. But this Panthers team didn't just repeat as Stanley Cup champions, they dominated their way into the history books. Florida became just the 10th franchise in NHL history to win back-to-back titles, and they did it with a level of statistical excellence rarely seen over the past few decades. Their 5-1 victory in Game 6 over the Edmonton Oilers sealed the deal and pushed their playoff goal total to 94, tied for the 4th highest in NHL postseason history and the most since the 1991 Penguins. But their dominance wasn't limited to the offensive side. Defensively, they were just as suffocating, allowing only 56 goals across 23 games. That gave them a plus 38 goal differential, tied for the 4th best mark ever in a single postseason. The only teams ahead of them, the 1981 and 1983 Islanders and the legendary 1985 Oilers. That's the kind of company these Panthers now keep. Florida allowed only 2.43 goals per game and killed penalties at an outstanding 86.4% rate. This defensive strength started with their captain Alexander Barkov, who claimed his 3rd Selke trophy this season. Right behind him was teammate and fellow Selke finalist Sam Reinhart. Add in defensively sound forwards like Tkachuk, Marchand, Lundell, and Luosterainen, plus a big, mobile, and disciplined blue line, and you have a team built to smother and outlast anyone. The Panthers' 2024-25 playoff run was filled with feats that bordered on the historic, and the trio of Sam Reinhart, Brad Marchand, and Sam Bennett led the charge. They became just the 2nd trio in Stanley Cup final history to each score 5 or more goals in a single Stanley Cup final. The only other trio to do it? The 1955 Detroit Red Wings, powered by none other than Gordie Howe. Florida also rewrote the record books on the road. They tied the all-time mark for most road wins in a single postseason with 10, and shattered the record for road goals with 61, 12 more than the previous high set by Wayne Gretzky's 1993 Kings. In the final alone, they were overwhelming, leading for a total of 255 minutes and 49 seconds, compared to just 33 minutes and 51 seconds for the Edmonton Oilers. A lopsided stat that captures how in control the Panthers were. The result? A near-flawless championship run that will be remembered as one of the most complete and dominant in modern NHL history. Alexander Barkov made history by becoming the first European captain to lead his team to multiple Stanley Cup championships. Behind the bench, Paul Maurice joined an elite group, alongside Toe Blake, Scotty Bowman, and Tommy Ivan as one of just 4 coaches to guide a team to the Stanley Cup final in each of his first 3 seasons with the franchise. But Maurice went one step further, becoming the only coach in NHL history to win 11 playoff series within his first 3 seasons with a single team. With their 2nd straight championship, the Panthers joined a very exclusive club. Since the NHL took control of the Stanley Cup in 1927, only 18 teams have managed to win back-to-back titles. Florida is now part of that elite group. Their trajectory mirrors that of the legendary 1980 Edmonton Oilers. Like Gretzky's Oilers, the Panthers fell short in their first trip during a 3-year finals run, losing in 5 games to the Vegas Golden Knights, but came back with a vengeance to win it all in back-to-back years. Florida is now the 7th team in the last 40 seasons to pull off consecutive Cup wins. As for the grit and edge in their game, that's not a flaw. It's a signature. The Panthers' blend of antagonism, swagger, and raw physicality is part of their identity. It's not just how they win, it's why they win. Combine that edge with overwhelming offensive firepower, suffocating defensive structure, and a deep roster filled with clutch performers, and you get one of the most complete and intimidating championship teams the NHL has seen in decades. The rest of the NHL isn't going to like this, but the Panthers are in a great spot to go for a three-peat. Their salary cap situation is strong, with most of their championship core locked in long-term. While they do have a few key free agents to re-sign, namely Sam Bennett, Aaron Ekblad, and Brad Marchand, that's the extent of their heavy lifting this offseason. The core of Alexander Barkov, Matthew Tkachuk, Sam Reinhart, Carter Verhaeghe, Seth Jones, Gustav Forsling, and Anton Lundell is signed through at least 2030. Sergei Bobrovsky has 1 year remaining on his $10 million deal, and most importantly, the majority of these players are still under 30. Florida has around $19 million in projected cap space for 2025. And since Bennett, Ekblad, and Marchand made roughly $18 million combined last season, there's a solid chance they bring back at least 2 of them. What the Panthers have done is already remarkable. Few teams lose in the final, only to come back and win the cup the following year. But the pain of 2023 clearly fueled their 2024 run. And in 2025, even as some doubted whether they could do it again, they proved their staying power. The question now is whether the Panthers have what it takes to run it back again. No team has ever won the cup 3 years in a row in the salary cap era. Are the Panthers poised to become the NHL's next great dynasty, or would you consider them already a dynasty? Drop a comment and let us know what you think. If you liked this video and want to see more, hit the subscribe button and turn on the notification bell. See you in the next one.